So it worked. Unbelievable. I can actually play an intro in the beginning of a show and not have it bounce back on my stereo like that. That's unbelievably loud as well. Like, sorry, I need to get the levels down a little bit so that when you're watching, you don't get it blasted in your ears. Thank you everyone for joining in. Needful things on a Sunday night. Hope you're well. Got a few gadgets I want to go through tonight. Some of my favourite gadgets that I've picked up. We've got a guest on the show tonight as well. First time we've got a guest, which is Paul Jessup. Now, Paul, entrepreneur, has been working on something. He's been in the sports field, and most of his life has been about getting cuffed by the goat whenever he's come across me. Played pretty high level tennis, but also he's been building something in the sports arena and sports and video arena. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. I really am sure you're going to enjoy this. Why did I invite Paul Jessup on the show? Because he has done this. And I would love you to watch this before I bring him into the studio. Do we even have a studio? This is his Kickstarter video. Now, this is the first. I don't think any other channel has done this live, so we are the first to play his Kickstarter video. It's been on Facebook since Friday night and on Instagram. I want you to watch this, and this is an... I'll let you watch the video first. Tell me what you think. Right, how awesome is that? So obviously, naturally now I've got to bring Paul into the shop. Paul, good evening. Hope you're doing well, mate. Thank you so much for joining us. We've just had a world exclusive. How are you? You well?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
we've got you in your kitchen, not in our traditional green room. I will one day have a green room for this show. I'm absolutely sure of it. I'm so proud of you for bringing that to life. That's an incredible achievement. Can we ask you first of all, though, why did you build a almost personal robot that can track you when you're filming with a phone?
Well, why did I do it? Basically, I've got a sports video analysis business that's going to be coming out a little bit later this year, and I think one of the big problems...
We're going to get the exclusive on that, right?
Sorry?
Are we going to get the exclusive on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. There you go. Just making sure. All right, carry on.
Absolutely, there you go. An exclusive for you. So basically, we've got a sports video analysis coming out later in the year, and that's going to link in with Tennis for Free as well, which is my main job. And the reason why I wanted to sort of develop this product is because it's pretty difficult in a tennis setting to be able, for coaches to be able to capture good quality footage of their clients in lessons, because there's obviously only two of you. Now, you can obviously put a tripod at the one end of the court, put your phone on it, and then hope your player stays within the field of view. Right. But obviously it doesn't tend to work that well. They move further out and closer in, and it's just a poor way of capturing shots for later analysis online. So that was the real motivation behind it, to try and progress and give us more of a chance to get the sports and analysis side of the business working better, easier for coaches, and at the same time obviously have a product to sell as part of that. But I've packaged it up a little bit more generic than that, especially with the Kickstarter, because everybody's been telling me, well, you can use it for quite a lot of things, so don't shut yourself off just purely on tennis. You know, you could be doing TikTok in your bedroom, you could be well, whatever you want to be, any kind of sports tracking, could be tracking it can track a lot of different things as well. You change the setting on what you want to track, and it could be a ball, it could be a dog, it could be whatever, really. So
there are quite a few options.
So yeah, that's where we're at.
When it comes to tracking, for example, I mean, something like the DJI Osmo 4. You use this with your phone. This will track you. What's the difference between what you do and something like this?
Well, I think the main difference is this has really been developed. Well, there's a few differences. Firstly, we've put an iPad on this.
Okay.
It is full 360 and it's pretty quick. It'll do a rotation in 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
I think one of the main things is I think those can just track face and an object if you kind of zoom quite in. So whereas here you've got specific categories of things that the machine learning model built into it will be able to track. So it's quite specific, and probably I think the main USP with this over any other product on the market right now is this kind of thing here, which this is just a shell right now. The working one is out in Kyrgyzstan, a few prototypes out there, and that can screw onto this, and then the phone screw onto that, and that can make it app free. You can literally do Zoom, you could do Facebook Live, you could do Instagram Live, Skype, and you would have, be able to move around, and it would always keep you in the middle.
And that would track you using so let's say I'm using Zoom, for example, and I'm talking to somebody, I'm moving around in position, and it's going to track me. How is that going to speak to your phone?
Well, this would have a circuit board inside and a camera, and then on Bluetooth, that then connects to the device, and that has the same function as the phone, telling, move a little bit to the left, move a little bit to the right.
So pretty similar to how LiDAR is working now on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's sort of judging distances for you, but this is going to be across any device. No barriers to, when you can just buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'd be able to load the app. You'd be able to plug this in, be able to connect with this to the app itself as well to copy the settings of the tracking settings. So say your tracking settings are track a person, and maybe auto zoom the person, and so you could copy the settings to the eyesight, we call it eyesight module, and then obviously and we can calibrate it as well, so we can calibrate the device that's on it. Is it looking the same as that as well?
Right.
And then from there, you've got a situation where you've got the settings of this on the app onto this, and then and you could put a DSLR, you could put a GoPro on it. It'll keep you in the middle.
Okay, that's very good. Now, however, I do have a valid question from Amisha, and she's saying, she's seen something similar. You and I have had this discussion in the past, but I'll let you answer it live on air. What is the difference between, say, Pivo, which is such a stupid name? Sorry, I shouldn't say that about a product. Such an unusual name. It just makes me think of toilets. And your product, AVA, which sounds so much more elegant.
So I should have brought it downstairs. I've got a Pivo upstairs and a couple of cheap Chinese things as well, which I've used for a lot of testing to try and make things a bit different. So the main advantages with this, don't get me wrong, Pivo's a very good product. It's probably the market leader. They've got a great app. They're quite well advanced on the app. There's a few big differences between this and Pivo. Firstly, Pivo's quite slow. There's two versions. There's a red version this is 4 times quicker than the red version. And there's a silver version, and they also do a black version, but the speed of the silver and the black is the same. And this is twice as quick as both of those. Sorry, twice as quick as the top-end Pivo devices. So if you are going to be using it for sports tracking, like sprinting, that kind of thing, then this will hopefully will serve you much better. Whereas you could probably run away from Pivo quite easily, just shimmy and move quickly, and it'll lose you. So that's one thing. Second thing, Pivo can't use an iPad or a tablet. It's just made for phones,
limited to smaller devices
themselves. Yeah, it's a weaker motor inside. I deliberately went for a stronger motor, more expensive motor, stepper motor inside, because I wanted it to be able to cope with iPads and also the speed function as well, which I wanted to be better. So So we put a better motor and again, the ability for it to hold an iPad. So that's another advantage over Pivo. I don't think Pivo can track balls. We want to track balls in a sports environment. So I want to, hopefully, at some point when we improve the algorithm on the app, which ultimately could copy to the eyesight module, I want to be able to even track a ball, a tennis ball in flight.
Yeah.
So we could have the option of tracking the player or the ball. So that's something Pivo don't do. We've also, this is based on a really powerful Google machine learning model as well, and there's lots of other things we'll be able to track in the future. I mean, all sorts, anything. There's about a list of 20 things that the machine learning model on this can track, although we've only coded in 4 or 5 right now, which we're
I saw something about you being on Google, and what was that about? You were on a Google TensorFlow or some sort of chat with Google. What was that about?
Yeah, it's in fact the TensorFlow channel are tweeting the video on the 26th. I think it's the 26th. So I'll be sure to tag you into that. So you have a section, but you can go on the TensorFlow channel now, watch the show and tell show version episode 4, and I'm on there talking about more of the technical stuff like the machine learning model that we've used and modified to be able to do this.
Price. Everyone's going to wonder about this. Tell me a little bit about this. What do we think this is going to cost, your device?
So right now we're pricing this at £120.
Okay.
Which is sort of a kind of along the lines of Pivo. But with the Kickstarter right now, we're dropping it right down, big 50% discount, because we need to try and get it off the ground. And then this here,
and how many
eyesight module.
Hang on, how many of the first Kickstarting funders will get it at that price? Is that everyone that funds it on Kickstarter, or is it just a limited number?
Yeah, we put it open to everyone. Maybe I did a mistake on that, but I don't know. So
50% off. We're talking about 60 quid.
So. Yeah, it's £60, although there's a package with the eyesight module, the GoPro mount, all sorts of other things with the full package. And that would normally be just over £200, and we've discounted that by 50% down to £100. So £100 for everything, where you can have moving Zoom and moving Skype, and you could probably clone the features of Facebook Portal, because you could load WhatsApp on it and it'll move around with you as well. So that's the full pack 100, or if you're just not too bothered about kind of loading Zoom or Instagram Live or TikTok straight onto your phone, then obviously just this setup as it is, we've got down as £60, which is a half price. And
where do they find this now? I mean, I can put the link up in my story later on, but I'm assuming this is on, what is this on Kickstarter, crowdfund? Where do they go?
Yeah, Kickstarter's the platform we've chosen to try to get this off the ground. And we're going to try, I mean, my motivation is to really get it out in the tennis market, to try to, again, support the sports and analytics business that will link with Tennis for Free and all that later in the year. But as I say, we're also going very generic as well, so that hopefully appeal to anybody that wants to track themselves moving. And again, other objects and moving things, dogs, horses, all that kind of stuff that the machine learning model built into this can do.
Oddly enough, Equestrian would be a really big market. Because actually, the amount of cameras they have up at these events, and now it's harder for them to have that many cameramen at places, eventing and that sort of stuff. They could just be using phones and tracking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
save them a lot of money on cameramen and on COVID restrictions.
Pivo just really tried to hit this market recently. I noticed they're really working hard on the equestrian community. The main product there is one called Pixum and Pixio. They use beacons around the arena, and then a tracking device in a pocket, and that will triangulate the person. So that's quite a popular product, which is about like 800 quid. It's
I saw that. Like, you've got to wear a watch or something, and it tracks you. It's like, who's going to spend that?
Yeah, it's very cumbersome.
And also, you give that to somebody to wear, and you're trying to hunt around at the tournament. Oh, who was the last person wearing this? It's just too much hassle. I think you just want to tap on somebody, and it records them, and then move your camera and tap on somebody else. Tennis Box TV. No, it's not. There's a Kickstarter for AVA, AVA, Automated Visual Video Assistant.
Automated Videoing Assistant, yeah.
Automated Videoing Assistant, and it's a British company run here by Paul Jessup. His idea, his build, his construction. We're going to put a link to it on my story, and we had the world's first exclusive show of that video on any tech show in the world. How powerful is that?
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah,
so now we've got to a point now where Paul has now promised, because of this, that when he has a new exclusive that's coming out in a few months' time, that's going to be revealed right here on the show. And I've been thinking about this. How would I give away this HD camera? No, it's not brand new. I've used this, and I have now moved on to another kind of camera that I will talk to you about. And the first 10 people from my show that back the Kickstarter campaign with what is the minimum they can back it with?
Well, you can back it with any amount, but in order to back it so that you get the product...
yeah, no, I get that, but what's the minimum they can back it with? Is it like a quid?
I think literally a quid, I think.
Okay,
yeah,
right. So whoever bids £1, at the minimum commits £1, of the first 10 people that do that, I will randomly select that person and send them this. So you've got yourself a 1080 action camera that's pretty sturdy, can take a beating, and you can use that to film yourself on your automated videoing assistant someday. Now, as Paul said, 60 quid or 65 quid, it's 50% off right now. If you back the Kickstarter campaign, you can order one now, pre-order. If you want to go the whole hog and get the literally like the full tilt system with the eyesight attachment, you're talking about 120 quid, which is, well, 100 quid, which is still 50% off the £200 package that it would be. So it's a huge amount of kit. The last but not least, Tennis Box TV, your gimbal follows you and does the same job. No, it doesn't. Your gimbal will never catch up with you. I've tried, and as I've said earlier on in the show, I've got them all. I've got this, I've got an RSC Pro 2, which is an outrageous gimbal, and it can carry a 5 kilogram camera on it. That thing cannot track you when you move too quickly. You're always out of shot. As good as you think they are, they're not good enough for sports. Sports are very, 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 very specific, and movement is jarring, it's sudden, and it's unpredictable. Whereas with cameras and things like gimbals, you're moving gently left and right. It's very predictable movement, and they can track a large subject very easily. Paul, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you about your passion. I'm glad you've got that off the ground, and you're at the stage now of kickstarting. I hope you raise a lot of money for this. I will put a link on my Instagram for you to head over to and follow. If not, PR Jessup. That's P for Peter, R for Romeo, Jessup is on Instagram. You can follow him, and then he'll point you over to... What's the Instagram handle for your... what do you call it?
You know what? It's... I think it's automated videoing assistant, but I must admit I haven't really done much on Instagram. But it'd be great to kick it off. So you'll be like the first follower if you can follow me on that.
That's an appallingly long name. Could you not have called it AVA Video?
Yes,
AVA Video or something. This guy, I mean, sorry people, I'm really appalled. I'm so ashamed of him.
On Twitter, it's AVA Videoing, so it's a little bit.
AVA Videoing.
It's a little bit better on Twitter. But,
all right, well, I'll put a link to it later on. I want to say thanks one more time for having you on the show.